Hey everybody, Noah here, bringing you our second video in this mobility series. This one's going to be on myofascial release, also known as foam rolling, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. I have my foam roller over here. I also like to use these tools as well. Lacrosse ball is a little firmer. You can use a tennis ball. I have this spiky ball. Depending on how hard they are, tend to get a little deeper. If they're softer, they don't go as deep into the muscle. So it's all based on preference, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So I've had some previous videos on foam rolling and different speeds to go and different reasons, depending on whether you're warming up or cooling down. But for today, we're going to focus on mobility. And so for our purposes, we want to go very slow through this. I'll explain why in just a second. We have parasympathetic and sympathetic stimulation coming from our nervous system at all times. The parasympathetic system gets us to slow down and relax. The sympathetic kind of helps us perform activity and get up and get going. So these are all, both systems like to kind of battle back and forth. So we really want to tap into this parasympathetic nervous system, and how we do that is by relaxing and breathing. Breathing is going to be very important here. So while you're foam rolling, we want to go slow. Going slow helps stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. We want to breathe slowly and fully. And then we don't want much pain while we're doing this. You shouldn't, if you had a scale of 0 to 10, your pain should not cross a 3. What tends to happen if your pain goes above a 3 is you end up holding your breath, and it tenses the muscles up even tighter. So you don't want much pain. So if you feel a lot of pain, you're probably going a little too hard, and we want to relax and see if we can get those muscles to relax and kind of loosen up. That's our goal today. So I'm going to show you a few moves. I'm sure I'm going to keep the ones that I don't think everybody's seen pretty commonly. Starting at the foot, I've done this one a few times, but I'll show it again. I like using this ball, but you use a lacrosse ball. You can use anything hard. You can use like a kettlebell at the gym, or I don't know, a rock you got laying around. A lot of different tools you can use. Be safe, obviously, don't use a sharp rock or something like that. But I'll show you real quick. So starting at the feet, I'm just going to put this ball here. I like to make little circles, and you can apply the pressure as necessary. So I'm going to go nice and slow. So I'm going to apply, I like a little more pressure. It's not too painful, and I can still breathe. So I'm putting a little more weight through my foot. I'm just doing circles to get started. You can do figure eights. If I find a tender spot, sometimes I'll hang out there for an extra second. But as long as it's not too painful. If it ends up getting too painful, I move on, because it's going to make the muscle even tighter. All right. So there's some circles there. You can use a lacrosse ball. I'll show you what that looks like. Same thing, just it's a little firmer. Doesn't have the same spike, so it doesn't have the same feeling on my foot. I can do both sides, obviously. And so this is all about how you feel. So there's no set, this is as many times as you need to do it. But for the purposes today, I would say do about 10 nice and slow. If you want to do more, you can, especially if you find an area that's tight and you start feeling it releasing. Then you can hang out there a little bit longer. The next one we're going to go on to is the calves. And I know a lot of you know this one. I'm going to show you a way I like to do it that makes it a little more targeted and a little more intense, if you should say. So you put one foot on, and then what you're going to do with the top foot is you're just going to cross it over the top. And what this does is add more weight to your leg. So now I'm just rolling that calf. I'm going to make sure I'm breathing, going nice and slow. There's no really set speed, but I say around 2 to 3 seconds to get from one end to the other end. It's a good parameter to live by on those. And again, this is for purposes of mobility and getting myofascial release and relaxing the muscles. So that's the first one. The second one I want to go to is the quad. So I know a lot of you have done IT band, which is on the side of your leg. And that's a very dense structure. So foam rolling doesn't like to do much. It's not much of a muscle. It doesn't really help relax it. But you have a muscle up in the top of the hip area here. It's called tensor fascia lata. or TFL, because I usually pronounce it wrong. TFL, you can foam roll that, which is a little closer to the hip, and then go all the way down to the distal end, so the end further away, closer to the knee on the IT band. The muscle that when you feel that pain that you're actually foam rolling is the Vastus Lateralis, which is a part of your quads. So oftentimes that gets very tender and tight, especially with overuse. So when you're feeling the pain at the end there, you're actually foam rolling the Vastus Lateralis muscle. So that's kind of a quad muscle. So you can hit it from the side here, just like I am here, or you can hit this muscle like we do the regular quads. So to do all the quads as a group, we're here, one leg down, and we're rolling forward and back here. I have my other opposite knee on the ground. See if I can show you from the front here. We're here, boom. And nice and slow, forward and back. And then I can rotate towards the side a bit more and hit that Vastus Lateralis muscle. That on a lot of people is pretty tight. Next, we have the glutes. So the glutes are one I do quite often. One thing you can do, you can either do both together just by sitting on it and rolling. I'll show you a side view. Or you can lean to one side. So we're just hitting those butt muscles. So I can lean to one side and get one a little bit better. One side a little bit better, but then we have to do both sides. If you need an even better stretch, what we're gonna do, I'll show you from the front here. This is a new version I just learned. We're gonna cross over just like we're stretching it. And then we're gonna foam roll right here. Takes a little coordination and it is pretty intense. What it does is it kind of opens up the back of the hip more and it allows for a little bit deeper pressure into those hip muscles. Perfect. And then you do both sides. We're gonna go up to the lats next. So the lats are a big muscle that run from your arm all the way pretty much down your entire backside. All right, after doing all those rows at the gym, this is a perfect one to help loosen that. Could be a little painful, so remember, go nice and slow. Make sure you're breathing. If it's too painful, don't hang around too long, especially if you notice you start clenching or holding your breath or tightening up. So I have my foam roller here. I'm laying right on top of it, arm out front. So this one, I'm just kind of using this hand and my legs to help guide back and forth right here. So the muscles mainly on your backside, so your chest kind of has to face up towards the ceiling, and we're just hitting that right there. You are also going to get some of your rotator cuff muscles, which are important for your shoulder. If they're too tight, it can lead to problems down the road. This one's a little bit more difficult, especially how tender it is. This is another one you can do with the ball. I prefer to do it with the foam roller, but you can get the ball laying around, do the same thing. It's a little more intense and a little more targeted. So I'm right here, just kind of rolling the same way. And make sure I'm breathing. All right. Next one here, I enjoy for the upper back. I don't use foam roller that much on my low back, but for my upper, right where my ribs are, I'm right here. So how we do this is we have it kind of right below our top of our shoulders. We're gonna kind of do a bridge here, and we're gonna squeeze through the glutes, keep the core nice and tight. That's important. We don't want the pelvis to drop or be too high. We just want to engage some muscles. So now I'm gonna cross here. You can go behind the head here, and we're just gonna go over those back muscles. This one might produce some popping. You might feel some of your back kind of cracked. That's normal. It's all right. I got a few myself right there. As you can tell, I started holding my breath after I got to one spot. So I'm going to slowly ease into that place as it starts to loosen up. Make sure I breathe through it all. One more here. Don't use a foam roller for this one much. I like to use the ball. It's for the pecs. I've done this one in the past in some of our mobility classes we've done. You can either do it on the wall or on the floor. Pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to come over to a wall. You're going to place the ball right on your chest and the upper chest, kind of right below your shoulder, your collarbone. You can put the ball right below there, and that muscle tissue there, and you're just gonna roll back and forth with your arm out to the side here. Boom. So nice and slow. Let it relax. That's our goal, is getting those muscles to kind of calm down and stop being so tight. And this is a great way to do that. I hope you enjoyed and took something away from this video, and I'll see you all soon.